What do you want from a ferry crossing? Easy connectivity at the ports? Modern ships? Ample facilities on board? Great customer service? Or does it really matter so long as you're getting decent value for money? Well, I reckon with this service you can have everything I've just mentioned and more. But I'd love to hear what you think too. Come with me now as I venture across the North Sea again and experience everything that this route has to offer. And I'll be asking the question, is this the best ferry crossing between the UK and Europe? Good evening everybody from Harwich on the Essex coast. Now there is only one reason I am in Harwich, isn't there? And that is because tomorrow morning I'm going to be taking Stena Line's Stena Britannica all the way across the North Sea over to Hoek van Holland in the Netherlands, and I am going to give you the ultimate full experience with this trip, because not only am I going over there on the day sailing, I'm also coming back on the night sailing as well. I have got access to the Stena Plus Lounge. I have got cabins both ways. It's going to be the full Monty, the whole thing. What's it like? There is only one way to find out, isn't there? Come with me. I'll see you at the ferry terminal in the morning. It was a beautiful morning in Harwich as I made my way over to the ferry terminal. I was staying in the new-ish travel lodge, which is about 20 minutes walk away. Vehicle check-in is over here just past the mini roundabout, and it is from here that I caught my first glimpse of the Stena Britannica basking in the sun. Entrance to the terminal is also the entrance to the railway station. Yes, the ferry is well connected to the rail network. There is absolutely no need for bus or coach transfers with this one. Greater Anglia ran a frequent train service from Manningtree over on the Great Eastern Main Line, and this is how I'd arrived here the day before. Access to the terminal building is by means of the stairs, lift or escalator. Then it's along this covered walkway and into the spacious departures area, where you will find plenty of seating, a tickets and reservations counter, which is also the check-in desk, toilets and a few vending machines if you need a coffee or a snack. Not for me though this morning. I was saving myself for the Stena Plus Lounge. Security was easy, and after that it was just a case of waiting to get on board. Good morning then guys from the Stena Line Harwich Ferry Terminal. It took about 20 minutes to walk here from my hotel, which was a travel lodge just down the road, and about 10 minutes to go through check-in and security. So we're just here now waiting for the doors to be open, which will take us along the gangway and then onto the ferry. It is a beautiful morning for it. I cannot wait for this. The sun is out. It's going to be a fantastic sailing out of Harwich and into the North Sea. I'll see you in a bit. Yeah, I was only there 10 minutes before the doors to the gangway were opened. Departure time for this sailing was 0900, with last check-in for foot passengers at 0815. Another advantage of travelling from Harwich as a foot passenger, of course, is this gangway. There's no waiting around for a bus that drives you onto the vehicle deck with everybody else. It is straight onto the ship. Basically, foot passengers are well catered for, rather than seen as a bit of an inconvenience, which is the impression I get from some other ports and ferry operators. Now, there was somebody to greet us as we boarded the ship on deck 7, and from here you can either use the lift provided or take the stairs. I chose the latter, and I made my way up to deck 10, where my day cabin and inside 2 berth was waiting for me. How did I do that? Okay guys, right, so it is just coming up to 8:30 in the AM. I think the first thing I need to do is to go and grab a coffee, and I'm going to grab a free coffee because I have access to the Stena Plus Lounge. So let's go and find that, and I'll see you in there. Well, the lounge, it's just a sectioned off area of the self-service restaurant really, right at the front of the ship and accessed with a door code given to you at check-in. Right guys, so I am in the Stena Plus Lounge, which is on the port side of deck 9. To be honest, just looking around, I think it's going to be quite busy, and there's quite a few people that came in after me. Now, it's not the biggest lounge in the world, but it's obviously there's only so many passengers it can accommodate. But I managed to get myself coffee and a welcome sight, a couple of croissants, which is quite good. The last time I was in the Stena Plus Lounge, I had to wait for about an hour and a half before we got any pastries at all. So that's really good. I'm going to drink the coffee, eat the croissants, and then we're going to head out on deck as fast as we can, really, to watch our departure out of Harwich. So I'll catch you in a bit. I made my way to the stern of the ship, where most of the outside deck space is situated, and overlooked a very empty external vehicle deck. We eased off our berth just a couple of minutes late. There were some great views back over to the railway sidings, and another vessel in port, the Swedish MV Toland, taking freight between here and Rotterdam. And with thrusters deployed, we began to make our way out into the Stour estuary. Weather conditions in the North Sea today: a light northerly breeze with calm seas and a comfortable crossing expected. We were scheduled to arrive into Hoek van Holland at 17:15 European time, so that would make it a journey time of 7 hours and 15 minutes. However, I would soon discover that that wasn't actually going to be the case. Right guys, here we go then, just leaving port on Stena Line's MV Stena Britannica, the only ferry that I've been on named after an encyclopedia. There you go. Anyway, the captain was just on a PA, Guy Taylor, and he was saying, interestingly, that to combat possible delays with the EU's new entry-exit requirements over in the Netherlands, then we're going to be putting our foot down, so to speak, and arriving 45 minutes early. It's primarily an issue for vehicle drivers and their passengers, I would imagine. So yeah, instead of the 7 hour 15 minute crossing, it's going to be 6 hours and 30 instead. No problem for me, I'm not in any rush, but I'm going to enjoy the crossing anyway, and I'm going to head inside in a little while and take a look at some of the interior facilities. But on a day like this, it was hard to tear myself away from the outstanding scenery on offer as we made our way towards open seas. Past the lightships in the channel here, you've got Felixstowe, the largest container port in the UK, and with a quayside of 1.5 miles and a depth of almost 50 feet, it can handle the world's largest container ships, and as you would expect, there were 1 or 2 such vessels in port today. And incidentally, you can take the Harwich Harbour ferry from the Halfpenny Pier over here in Harwich to Felixstowe and also Shotley, a kind of a triangular route, and in doing so you do get some wonderful close-up views of the ships in port. Well, I had to make do with watching from the side of deck 11 for now, but it was still a fantastic viewpoint, and I longed to be back on one of these vessels, one of the best trips of my life. And talking about quality travel experiences, well, I think you may be interested in what I've got to tell you about next. I tell you what, it's getting warm out there, even for 9:30 in the morning. Now then guys, as you know, I travel a lot, and it is extremely important that the equipment I take with me does not let me down. That is why I use Level 8 premium quality luggage. It is stylish and refined, but it's also affordable. Now my current travelling companion is this Level 8 20-inch aluminium carry-on. It has a strong but lightweight aluminium magnesium alloy hard shell exterior, together with a telescopic aluminium handle and double TSA approved locks, which will ensure, of course, secure and hassle-free travel. These 360-degree ultra-smooth, super quiet spinner wheels make negotiating airports, railway stations, ferry terminals and busy city streets an absolute breeze. The luggage, it just glides so smoothly and elegantly, it really does give it a refined and elevated experience. And it is just as smart on the inside. Take a look at the spacious interior here. The packing cube set provided fits snugly and has been cleverly designed to organise and maximise your packing capabilities and requirements. It's really well thought out, isn't it? And on top of that, you've also got this integrated zipped sleeve here to keep all your important documents safe and in pristine condition. Trusted by tens of thousands of travellers worldwide, including me, Level 8 are a multi-award winning brand that offer high-end quality products that are also reliable, durable and stylish. And guys, if you are looking to upgrade your luggage, then you can get a massive 15% off anything purchased through the Level 8 website simply by clicking on the link in the description to this video below and entering my exclusive code LMAT15 at checkout. Right, I'm going to store this away and it'll be time to explore a little bit more of the ship. And exploring the ship is pretty easy because you've got plenty of deck plans dotted about, and you can also make use of the digital screens like this one to find your way around. The other thing is, of course, which makes it really easy, is that all the public space is on one deck, deck 9. So I thought I'd start at the front of the ship and then work my way back slowly towards the stern. First we have the Taste Restaurant, which takes up most of the space here, and there are quite a few windows overlooking the bow. There is plenty of table seating in this whole area, as you would expect, and it was never overly full when I used it. It's all self-service this, and just to note, there is no separate a la carte restaurant or anything like that on board. Example prices for food, well, most of the main meals were no more than €16.50. On offer were the usual fish and chips, meatballs, the Stena burger, plus a couple of vegetarian options. We'll have a closer look at the food on the way back, and as per usual, I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether you think the price I paid for a meal later on was good value or not. On the starboard side, in the same area really, is the Reaver Bar, shaped like a boat. The Reaver Bar was occasionally staffed, which was fine because at this time of day there didn't really seem to be many customers, but it was well stocked. There were plenty of beers on draft, and there were plenty of spirits too. A little bit too early for me at this point. By the yellow stairs here was a random game that involved throwing bags into holes from what I could make out. This area is also used for the embarkation-disembarkation of passengers depending on which port the ship is using, and also some stairs, the red stairs, down to deck 8, which is where the kennels were situated. I must admit, it did pong a bit down there. The Barista Coffee House was next, just a small space really where you can get hot and cold drinks, sandwiches and snacks. I'm assuming that you're served by the same people manning the guest services desk, which provided information for passengers and sold services such as day cabins from €47.50 and Wi-Fi codes for €4 per crossing. The Family Hub and Happy World were full of kids, and that's just not an area I'm going to film for obvious reasons. And so on to the duty-free shops, one large and one small. The large one here sold a decent selection of alcohol and cosmetics, and the small one, and that was more for gifts, confectionery and travel essentials. Both shops were, fairly typical of what you can expect to find on this size of ferry. Past the blue stairs amidships now, and we're in the social cafe and bar. The main bar really this is, which was almost as busy as the Family Hub, but with a more adult clientele. The central main bar sold all the drinks you would expect, plus some snacks such as sandwiches and crisps. Example prices: pint of Heineken €5.90, house wine €6.80. I did manage to find the entrance to the Freight Driver's Lounge opposite this, where as per usual prices would be much cheaper, but also as per usual I wasn't allowed in, so I just lingered by the door looking rather forlorn instead. I found a small area with a few slot machines in it, which didn't look that appealing in my opinion, but then I don't really gamble, so I'm not that clued up on whether it's worth your time or not. Outside the door to this was some kind of selfie camera thing I couldn't resist having a go at, but I had to scan a QR code that didn't work because I didn't have internet access, so that was a bit of a fail all in all. Right, back in the Stena Plus Lounge. Yeah, it's really quite busy out there, so areas like the Happy World family area thing, it's just I cannot film that at the moment. To try and get a few shots because I'm coming back tonight. It might be a bit quieter, so I might try and get a few shots then. But yeah, not easy, and I guess it's to be expected, isn't it, really, at the start of the school holiday season. But it's nice to come back into the Stena Plus Lounge for a little bit of respite. But I'm just going to have a snack or two now, and because it's such a nice day outside, I'm going to head back out, have a look at the outside deck space, and take a few shots as we make our way across. About 12:15 now, so yeah, we're making good progress. We're about halfway across, aren't we? Plenty more to see and do. I'll catch you in a bit. Most of the outside deck space is at the stern. You've got a covered seating area here just behind the social cafe and bar, which is handy when it's raining or even if it's too hot. There is an outside bar here too, the sun deck bar, but that didn't look like it had been open for quite some time. The rest of this area on the starboard side affords some good views of the stern and the vehicle deck below. On the other side of this deck you have the basketball football cage thing. This was the only time I saw it empty, to be honest. It is certainly a favourite amongst some of the kids on board and a useful addition to the space, I think. There is a small smoking area on this side which some people used and some people didn't. It's a bit small though really, considering the amount of people that were smoking and vaping on board. Above that on deck 10 is another small amount of space that is also replicated but much better back on the starboard side, where there are a few bench seats available. And then up on deck 11 you get much more seating, but also some decent views on both sides of the ship. This is where I spent most of my time outside. It's quieter up here and a nice relaxing area. When I found the ship's construction plate, which looked like it needed a little bit of TLC to be honest, and then it was time to head inside again for some lunch. Right guys, here we are back in the Stena Plus Lounge, trying to be a little bit discreet. It's nearly 1 o'clock in the PM, so I thought it's probably time for a glass of wine, so you've gone for a glass of the white. There's only one option and that's on tap. It's nice and cold though, and to accompany that we've got some mixed olives and like a cheese savoury type thing. There's crackers and some cubes of cheese, so that'll keep me going for a bit, and yeah, I'm going to enjoy this, and it'll be time for another bit of a wander, I think. The lounge was quite well stocked really. You've got a couple of coffee machines here, savoury snacks and juice, plus cold water and soft drinks. Here's the wine on tap I was telling you about. There are more savoury snacks, and then onto the island table where you've got olives, etc., cheese, crackers, fruit, and an assortment of cakes. Not a main meal by any means, but enough to snack on throughout the day, and all in all, it was a pretty good space. One of the better Stena Plus lounges in my experience, and actually, because I don't normally drink in the day, after my second or maybe even my third glass of wine, I decided to head back to my cabin and have a lie down. And this is one advantage of having a day cabin though, isn't it? Some personal space to head back to whenever you want. And by the time I emerged, we were only 45 minutes away from port, so enjoy the approach with me, and I'll tell you a little bit more about our ship. We arrived into Hoek van Holland on time, the rescheduled time of 16:30, and foot passengers were told to wait on deck 9 before the purpose-built gangway was connected to the ship. It was then an interesting wait at border control for about 10 minutes before I was once again let into another country other than my own. When I stopped for a couple of minutes to look at the beautiful model ships on display in the terminal building, and after a quick chat with some very helpful Stena Line staff, I made my way over to a lonely bus shelter to try and decide on what to do next. Right, guys, well, I'm out the other side at Hoek van Holland. But a funny thing happened to me earlier on at passport control. Oh, well, not me actually. There was some kids in the queue line, and one of the kids dropped some chocolate on the floor, and this bulldog ate it and then proceeded to be sick all over the floor. Well, chocolate's poisonous to dogs, though, isn't it? So I'm not surprised, really. Anyway, yeah. So that was interesting. And then when I got to the passport control officer, she was like, "What's the purpose of your visit?" I was like, well, "I'm just going to wander around for a few hours and come back." And this look of incredulity. And it's like, well, didn't nobody come here for a day trip? Evidently not. But anyway, so here I am, and actually, I managed to leave my luggage at. Well, it was very helpful actually at the ticket reservation desk just in the terminal building there. So a very helpful Stena Line staff there, worth a mention indeed. So yeah, what am I going to do? Don't know. But yeah, it's quite an interesting place, and like Harwich, there is a connection to the rail network. It's just over there to my right, and I guess that building there, as you can see, must have been the old railway station. It certainly looks like one, doesn't it? So maybe I'll head over there actually and see if there's any trains, and also check out where they're going to and how much it costs, and obviously make sure that I'm back here. I think check-in closes at 9:15 tonight, but I'll probably be here a little bit earlier than that. Right, I'll see you in a bit. Right, well, I headed over to the station here, and I managed to buy an RET 2-hour ticket for €5.60, and that is valid on RET tram lines, metro lines and the bus. Don't ask me what RET stands for, I've got no idea, but looking at the map, it's quite a comprehensive network, so I'm going to enjoy 2 hours of travelling around with that, and then I guess by then it'll be almost time to come back. I'll see you in a bit. I had a really good couple of hours on the metro actually. The ticket is good value and the trains are frequent enough that you're never really waiting around too long for the next one. When I got back I walked past the ferry terminal and on towards the beaches on the coast. There were plenty of interesting sights to see, and I'll post a more extensive video of my time ashore on my other channel, Let's Take a Walk. I'll link to it here and also in the description to this video. Alright, so here I am sitting on some kind of funky bench, which is about, well, I'm just looking over my left shoulder there. Is it about a mile? Can you see the Stena Britannica there in port? Yeah, a mile at the most from the terminal building. And do you know what? I'm glad I made the effort to explore a little bit around the port area, because I didn't know for a start off that there's a beach just down here and this amazing fort structure. I think you can pay to get in that, and you know, if you do the overnight crossing and you come here, you basically arrive here quite early in the morning, then there are things to do, and then I guess, you know, you could catch the overnight sailing back, so do 2 overnights if you like, and spend the day looking around. So I'm glad I've done it. I'm glad I went on the metro as well, really. So yeah, it's been a long day so far, but a rewarding day, and I'm glad I've done it. So I'll head back there in a minute, and I will see you again once we get back on board the Stena Britannica. It was hard to leave the beach really, but I thought I'd better get back. Check-in was super smooth and there were no waits at passport control at all. Another advantage of having a gangway: if the ship's ready, get people on it, get them spending money. It makes absolute perfect sense, doesn't it? Alright guys, so back on board the MV Stena Britannica, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to give a massive shout out to the girls over at the Ferry ticket and reservations desk there in Hoek van Holland, because they looked after my case for me, which was much appreciated. And not only that, but they printed out all my booking details and ticket information as well, so absolutely fantastic. You know what, if that would have been P&O, they'd have either charged me for it or they'd have just told me to bugger off, possibly. Anyway, so yeah, massive thanks to them, that was really appreciated. So I'm going to give you a quick cabin tour, and then we're going to head out for some dinner because I am absolutely starving. So let's have a quick little look then. This is an inside two-berth cabin. So I'll just turn the camera around. You know what, when I was talking to you, I wasn't quite sure whether this is kind of like a mirror. It's not really a mirror, is it? I mean, it's like all stuff on it. So maybe it's just a thing for inside cabins. It doesn't matter anyway, does it? Anyway, so there's two berths here, a top and a bottom. You have individual reading lights as well. Well, you've got one for the bottom. I'm sure there was one for the top. I can't see it now. Maybe there isn't. Okay, never mind. A small table there with a European style plug socket. That's the word. And then we've got a nice little kind of bench seating area just opposite the bed. And there's a TV in this cabin as well, showing all the usual terrestrial channels, plus some European channels, and also some information regarding the ship and ship position and ship webcam. And also you can have a look at your pet if it is in one of the kennels down on deck 8. So there's a big mirror here, and there's a telephone here. I wonder if many people use a telephone. I guess if you've got a problem, then it's there, isn't it? More European style plug sockets there, and also British 3-pin. I would imagine that there used to be magazines here. There is a ladder here to get yourself up onto the top bunk, and another mirror here. Right, let's go and have a look in the bathroom. I think it's quite nice, actually. It's quite a nice bathroom. You've got some lovely lights here and another mirror in front of the sink, and yeah, the sink itself nice and clean, and you have some liquid soap provided there. That is mine, by the way. And yes, behind the Brandon on point shower curtain, reasonable size shower really for a Ferry. Again, liquid soap and shampoo is provided. One or two other things, guys. There's a couple of bins. There's one in the bathroom as well, and climate control is adjustable, as you can see here. So we're not going to have it up there, we're going to have it down here tonight, because yeah, it's been warm all day. It's been a great day, a really rewarding day actually. I am so glad that I made the effort to come over here and have a look around. So as I said, I am really hungry, so we're going to check out the dinner options, and yeah, I will see you over in the Taste restaurant in a little while. So here I am then back in the Taste restaurant, and in a change to the advertised programme, yes, that is right, I have gone for something different to fish and chips. It is in fact the Stena burger and chips. So yeah, I thought I'd try it. It looks quite nice on the screen there over by the counter, and a Coke, and so that has come to €20.90. It's just about okay, I think that is, isn't it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. But I'm going to get stuck in now, and I will talk to you again when I'm finished. Right guys, well that was rather nice actually. I tell you what, it did not fill me up, and it certainly didn't feel like they were cheaping out on the ingredients or anything like that. So yeah, I would recommend the Stena burger actually if you're on any of the Stena Line ships that serve it. Right, and I'm going to let that digest for a little while, and then I think we'll head to a bar, I'm not sure which one yet, and get a cheeky nightcap. I'll see you in a bit. Well, fresh air is best, isn't it? And losing the light a little now, of course, but it was still an absolutely beautiful evening. And just going back to the early boarding before, well, it enabled me to get settled back into my cabin, go and have some dinner, and still be out here on deck to watch our departure. It is all about convenience and customer service, isn't it? And I do think that this is an area where Stena Line shines, not just on board, but also online. They've also invested a lot in upgrading the fleet over recent years and standardising some of the features on board. And the last time I did this crossing, I could have had dinner in the Taste Plus restaurant, where the Stena Plus Lounge is now. There was also a separate wine bar, a cinema, as I said earlier, even a casino. But was there too much? Well, it certainly feels more spacious inside now, but has the refurbishment changed for the better or not? Well, I've written a blog about it over on my Ko-fi page, and if you're interested in becoming a member like these lovely people on the screen now, you can scan the QR code here or click on the link in the description to this video. Now, I post lots of additional content over there, and the support I get, either on Ko-fi or by becoming a YouTube channel member, well, it really helps to keep the channel moving in the right direction. Thank you very much in advance. The bow thrusters moved us away from the berth, and because we'd arrived straight in, bow first so to speak, we had to carry out a 180-degree turn in the canal here before we were able to head back out to sea. Right guys, so we are on our way home. We actually left the berth about 20 minutes early. Guy Taylor came on the PA again to inform us of just that, and I hope that doesn't mean that I've got to get up 20 minutes earlier in the morning. Well, hopefully not, but anyway, do you know what? It never ceases to amaze me how many ships of all shapes and sizes are coming in and out of the port here. It's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? If you're into ships like I am, I don't know much about them, but I'm interested and fascinated by them nevertheless. And I'll tell you what, if you've never seen the video that I made about my week-long adventure on a container ship, then give it a watch. I'll link to it up here now on the screen, and yeah, it was an amazing and unforgettable experience. I would like to say it was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but I've actually booked another one for next year, so I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, give it a watch if you haven't already. I'm going to give it another 10 minutes or so out here, I think, while there's still a little bit of light, and then I'm going to head inside for a quick drink. Yes, we're looking across the water here at the Port of Rotterdam and Europort, one of the world's busiest ports. You will see every imaginable type of vessel here, from the biggest container ships to tankers, vehicle transporters, bulk carriers, and of course ferries. A pilot vessel sat at our stern for a while as we moved slowly towards open waters, and then accelerated between us and the Maltese-flagged MV Chemical Voyager, a chemical tanker heading into port the other way. The pilots do a tremendous job rendezvousing with ships further out to sea, guiding them into port with their local knowledge and expertise. As the light faded further, I stood overlooking the stern for a while, and after we'd passed the breakwater, decided it was time to head inside and grab that drink I'd been thinking about. Right guys, so I am inside in the social cafe and bar. There's a few people being social. No entertainment, as I said earlier. It's not something that Stena tend to do. So anyway, I have gone for a pint of Murphy's, and that was €6.70. So again, average really, isn't it that? And yeah, I'm going to get stuck into this, and I am not going to speak to you again tonight because A, I'm not a personality vlogger, so you don't want to listen to me just rambling on about random stuff all the time, and B, because I'm really tired. So once I've drank that, I think it'll be time for bed. So I shall bid you good night now, and I will speak to you again in the morning. Well, I had a pretty good night's sleep really. Setting my alarm for 6 o'clock in the morning gave me plenty of time to wake up and get back out on deck for some early morning fresh air. Right guys, here we are back in Harwich. It is 6:25 in the morning. Just waiting now to be called to disembark, and yeah, in amongst the relentless announcements, I've managed to catch a few minutes outside here, looking back over from deck 10. A few clouds in the sky, a little bit of blue as well. So the plan is we're going to head into Harwich town, go and grab some breakfast there I think, and then after that I will be summarising the trip and letting you know my thoughts and opinions on it. So yeah, about half an hour or so, and I will see you in town. Price I paid for this return trip with Stena Line was £166. That included an inside cabin both ways, access to the Stena Plus Lounge going out, and all sorts of unavoidable bits and pieces like fees and dues adult £3. What is that exactly? Interestingly, if you look closely at the price information, the actual foot passenger fare by itself was just £1.70 each way. Yeah, but overall though, I thought it was reasonable value for money. And as I walked down the gangway towards UK passport control, I knew I'd be back. And that's because I'll always use a route that offers convenient connections and a company that gives me value for money and excellent customer service. It's simple really, isn't it? I jumped on a train for Harwich, and after grabbing some breakfast I found a lovely quiet spot overlooking the beach where I just took a couple of minutes to summarise the journey. So guys, I am back in Harwich, well, Dovercourt actually, overlooking the sea here, lovely spot. And what do you think about that? The Stena line, MV Stena Britannica, all the way from Harwich over the North Sea to Hoek van Holland in the day. Had a little bit of a wander around and then coming back last night with the overnight sailing on the same ship. Well, do you know what? The Stena line, for me, it's not a mini cruise, is it? If you want that kind of thing with the coach transfers and everything else, then you're going to be looking at P&O from Hull or DFDS from Newcastle across the North Sea for both of those routes. But yeah, I mean, convenience, it's fantastic, isn't it? You've got the railway station at Harwich, Harwich International, and you've got the metro line at Hoek van Holland. So either way, then your options are pretty much unlimited really. And what I would say is that if you're looking to do this route, then rail and sail in the UK is probably your best option. And then when you get over to the Netherlands, well, you can just go on, and the rest of Europe is your oyster really, isn't it? And yeah, the ship itself, the experience, absolutely fine. Stena, pretty consistent in my opinion with their service, the facilities on board, the friendliness of the crew, the helpfulness of the crew as well. And the Hoek van Holland itself, there were some things to do there. So, you know, maybe there are different options, aren't there? You've got maybe the day sailing that I took, and then a few hours wandering around, and then coming back overnight. Or you can go there on the overnight sailing, come back on the overnight sailing, make a day of it. Or you can do 2 day sailings if you like, because you can stop in Hoek van Holland or Rotterdam or nearby. And let me know, guys, have you done this route in the past, or would you do it having watched this video? And don't forget, if you are looking to upgrade your luggage, then if you click on the link in the description to this video, then you can get a massive 15% off luggage purchased through the Level 8 website if you enter my exclusive promo code LMAT15 at checkout. Thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in ferry videos, there are lots more around the screen now. I hope you've enjoyed it. I had a great time. I will catch you on another adventure soon. And until then, guys, as always, cheers for now.